Hi, I'm Colonel Mike Hopkins, United States Air Force and NASA astronaut. I will be the commander on NASA and SpaceX's Crew-1 mission to the International Space Station. Yeah, so we are part of the Crew-1 mission, and that means we are going up on the Crew Dragon, the SpaceX Crew Dragon vehicle, going to launch to the International Space Station and spend a full long-duration mission up there. That we're following the DM-2 mission, which just recently landed, and one of the things that has to happen before we can go up is we have to actually look at the data from their mission. Bob and Doug did a test mission, and so that's really where they're verifying that the requirements of the vehicle are met. And then when we go up, we're actually going to put it through its operational paces. We're going to have a full crew of 4 instead of just 2. We're going to stay up for a long duration, so that means 6 to 7 months versus the 3 to 4 months that Bob stayed up. So that's basically, in a nutshell, what we're going to be doing. It's a standard ISS mission, except we just happen to be flying on a brand new vehicle. So my role on the Crew Dragon itself, as part of Crew-1, is the commander of the vehicle. And so essentially from all of this training that we've been going through, launch, rendezvous, docking with the space station, I'm the commander of that particular vehicle. When we get on space station, I just become another member of the ISS crew. And at that point, I'll be doing all of the standard roles that you would expect any crew member that's on ISS to perform, whether it be maintenance, whether it be science, whether it be doing spacewalks or robotics operations or anything of that nature. While I'm there, though, the whole time I am still responsible for the Crew-1 vehicle and making sure that it's always ready to bring us home if we have to. And then at the end of our mission, our stay on ISS, I'll command the vehicle and bring us back home and land, and then at that point it's all done. Well, actually it's not all done. Believe it or not, once you get back from the mission, you have a long post-flight period. You've got to go through, again, some additional experiments, testing, collection of data on you, a lot of reviews, a lot of debriefs on how the vehicle performs. So really when we land, the mission isn't actually over. We actually spend another about 6 months or so going through the post-flight period. Sitting on the launch pad is definitely a moment that you're always thinking about, right? That's one of the more critical phases of the flight, as you can imagine. And so you're very focused in, right? It can be a very emotional time because you're getting ready. You're sitting on top of a rocket that's got hundreds of thousands of pounds of fuel on it. That's getting ready to launch you into space. And so as you can imagine, that can be very emotional. But at the same time, you have a job to do and you've got procedures to follow. And so you get very focused in on that to make sure you're monitoring all of the systems and making sure everything is going the way the plan has been laid out. And so, when that launch, that moment is probably one of those that you think about a lot. Because it's hard, believe it or not, and I've been to space, but it's hard to imagine yourself up in low Earth orbit, up floating, and so I think what I can get my head around right now is the launch phase, right? Knowing that that's going to happen, and then once you get on orbit, you're kind of pinching yourself because it's hard to believe that you're finally there. So this is so every vehicle typically has a patch made that represents that crew, that represents that vehicle. And so this is our Crew-1 patch. And so this is for the NASA SpaceX Crew Dragon vehicle. And you'll notice a lot of times you'll have names of the crew members that are on this on the patch, but we elected not to have our names on it, and part of that is because it's not just about the astronauts that are on board, but it's about the entire team at NASA and SpaceX that it's taken to launch this Crew-1 vehicle. The other thing I'd like to point out on, and it's kind of hard to see, and I'm not sure if you'll be able to see it in the camera view, but along the bottom there are the symbols for all of the previous U.S. launch vehicles. So Mercury, Gemini, Apollo, Space Shuttle, and that's flowing into the SpaceX NASA Crew Dragon, and then all of that going up to the International Space Station. So very excited about our patch, the Crew-1 patch, and it was a lot of fun to help design it, and it's even more fun now to be able to wear it. Yeah, so getting to watch the DM2 mission has been pretty amazing. We were in one of the flight control rooms during the launch itself, and I have to admit the first time when they started to fuel that rocket with Bob and Doug in the actual vehicle, this is the first time this has ever happened. And that was a little bit surreal. And after so many months and years of working on this vehicle, to actually be in that moment where you were getting ready to launch them into space was kind of exciting. It was very exciting, actually. And so you definitely had a bunch of goosebumps as you're watching that all take place. And then, they get to the International Space Station, and the docking and everything goes so smoothly, which is very exciting to see that what you have planned actually transpires that way. And then once they got on board, they've done a lot of work to kind of test out the vehicle, if you will, to check how we're going to pack the vehicle, how we're going to have it, what configuration we're going to have it in while it's docked to the International Space Station. They've been going through all of that process, or they've gone through all of that process, and so it's really been helpful for us to see that happen. And then, of course, the landing and recovery and all of those, which is just as important as the launch and docking. And so to see all of that take place has just been fantastic. Wow, how do you mentally prepare for a space flight? I think you just try and keep it all in perspective. Fortunately, I've got my wife and kids help me do that. But you go through the day-to-day training, the day-to-day operations to get ready for it. And so in that case, sometimes you're not always thinking about that big picture of I'm going to space. You really focus on how does this system operate? When I take this exam next week, what do I need to study to get ready for it? And so you get kind of caught in the moment of that particular system or that particular training that you're going through. And so from a mental preparation, you don't necessarily have to think about it right away, right? You've got time. And, it's funny, I go back to my days at the University of Illinois when I was playing football, and, there's a lot of similarities, believe it or not, between playing sports like that and doing something like this where you're launching into space. You spend players, whether it's football or any sport, volleyball or basketball or you name it, you spend months and years training and practicing for that moment when you get on the field, when you take the court, and when you walk out to the launch pad to that rocket. And so there's a lot of similarities between those events, and so that mental preparation, if you will, that I went through during my days on the football field, I find that applies now as I'm getting ready for spaceflight. I guess for me, the dream of becoming an astronaut goes back to the early days of the space shuttle program. I was in high school, and so at that time, they used to show the launches and the missions live in the schools, and you could go into the gymnasium, and they'd have a TV up there, and you could watch it all take place. And so that's when I really started thinking about becoming an astronaut. And it's funny. A lot of times people think of the dream of being an astronaut as something that a kid would have. And I remember when my wife and I first started dating at the University of Illinois, and I told her that I wanted to be an astronaut, she laughed at me and kind of said, "Are you serious?" But at the same time, she stuck with me throughout the years, and as I went through multiple applications to try and become an astronaut, and after 13 years of trying, and to have that dream come true is pretty amazing. I think the amazing thing about once you become an astronaut is you realize that there's a lot of people that would make amazing astronauts, that would be fantastic astronauts. It just so happens that I was in the right place at the right time, answered the questions in the right way during the interview, whatever it was. But quite frankly, I think I got lucky. But what does it take to be an astronaut? Well, it certainly is going to take a lot of hard work. It's going to take a lot of dedication, and it's going to take a lot of passion, right? One of the things that we always talk to people about that are interested in being an astronaut, and a lot of times you'll get that question about, what should I do What should I study? What kind of job should I get to become an astronaut? And the most important thing is you got to be passionate about whatever it is you do, because if you're passionate about that, it's going to come through, and we're going to see that, and we know you're going to bring that same type of passion to the astronaut corps. And so I think that's a big part of it, is do what you love, and if the astronaut, if becoming an astronaut works out, then all the better. So believe it or not, I've been at NASA now for almost 11 years. And so, of course, your first job when you come in is you're an astronaut candidate, which means you're just going through the basic training program. You're learning how to be an astronaut. Then I was very fortunate and I got signed right away, so I was now an assigned crew member, which meant I went through the training flow for an actual mission to the International Space Station. Once I got back from the International Space Station, I've had a variety of roles within the office. One of the primary one has been as a capsule communicator, the Capcom. And so I've been the Capcom for just standard day-to-day ISS operations. I've been the lead Capcom for spacewalks. I've been the lead Capcom for the commercial crew program. And so that's been a really interesting job, because as we've been developing and bringing these new vehicles to operations, you've got to be a part of that whole process, the procedures, how are we going to communicate with the crews, and what's the right information to give the crews through all phases of flight. And so serving as a Capcom within the office has definitely been a highlight, because you're right there. I mean, it's really almost one of the next best things to being in space, is because you're right involved in all of the operations. So I got to walk through the moment of getting the call of being assigned. I have to go back in time a little bit, and that is getting the call that you've been selected. So let's start there. And so when you go through the interview process for becoming an astronaut, at the time anyway, you knew you were going to get, if you got an interview, you knew you were going to get a call. And it just depended on who called you, whether you were going to be selected or whether they were going to tell you, thank you, but we aren't going to select you at this time. And so you're waiting for that call. And I sit there and I think about how important, how big a deal it was when that call finally came in. And yet, I thought that was the biggest moment of my life. But then, when the chief of the astronaut office calls you in to their office and they tell you that they want to assign you to an actual space flight, it's kind of like, oh wow, I mean, they actually mean to send me to space. And so that moment was even bigger, believe it or not. And because, before that, it still seems a little bit like a dream. And then when they finally assign you to a mission and your name goes next to an expedition number and has a launch date and things of that nature, it starts to get a lot more real. And that's when it really starts to get exciting. For the second mission, I had been working as the lead Capcom for these commercial crew program, and for both vehicles, for both the Boeing Starliner and for the SpaceX Crew Dragon. And so we knew there was going to be an announcement, and there was going to be multiple crew members that were going to be involved in it. And of course, there was that initial cadre that included Bob and Doug and Sonny and Eric Bowe. And so we knew that they were going to be a part of that initial cadre. So you weren't quite sure whether, I thought there was a reasonable chance that I was going to be a part, but then you're going through this guessing game of, well, do I think I'm going to be on one of the Boeing vehicles? Or do I think I'm going to be on the SpaceX vehicle? And so when you get the call, it's the same, right? It's the same as it was the first time, is just as exciting, and just as exciting to know that I was on the SpaceX vehicle, was going to get to do something new and exciting, and a new vehicle. And so each one, the first time I got assigned, the second time I got assigned, was special and unique, and it still just gives me goosebumps. It's funny when I got that call and I knew I was going to be assigned, there was still a lot of work that I was doing as that lead Capcom for the commercial crew program. And so you have this idea that maybe I can continue to do some of that work while I'm assigned, because you never like to leave things undone, right? You never like to leave things not complete. And so I had this idea that I was going to be able to continue working as that role while I started my training and things of that nature. And you quickly realize that there's just not enough hours in the day. And so I would say that was probably one of the biggest differences, the biggest changes that happened when, the day after or the week after or 2 weeks after, was just realizing how much work there was that it was going to take to be now an assigned crew member, and the realization that I wasn't going to be able to continue some of my other duties that I had been doing. And so once you get to that realization, then you get focused 100% on getting ready for the next mission. Yeah, my family means everything to me. It is the most important part of my life, God and family, and so quite frankly, if I didn't have an opportunity to fly again into space, I'm okay, because I've got my family. My wife Julie has known I wanted to be an astronaut from the time we first started dating back in my college days, which is quite a few years ago. But she's been a part of it from almost the beginning, and so getting to share this journey with her and also our kids has made it extra special, right? It's the icing on top of the cake, and so without family, it just wouldn't be as meaningful. Yeah, one of the things that's different is my sons are older, and so the first time I launched, they were in, I guess, high school and junior high. And so it was pretty easy at that point. They're still living in the house. And so when they traveled over to Russia and then on to Kazakhstan for the launch, they're doing it as a family and all together. And from a logistics standpoint, it was pretty simple. This next time is going to be a little more challenging. Both my sons are at college. My older one at the University of Michigan, Ryan is there, and Lucas is at the University of Notre Dame. And so that's going to add a whole new dimension to how do we make this launch, being at the launch and things of that nature work out. But at the same time, however it works out, it may not be exactly the same as what we were able to do last time. I may not be able to have the same kind of contact with them that I had the last time. But I also know that they're very supportive of what I do, and so even though I may not be able to have some of that direct contact, at least I know they're there with me.
Will you just speak to that?
Yeah, absolutely. And what, life does go on for the families that are at home, and what you forget oftentimes is the additional stress that they're under because of their spouse being on board the International Space Station. And just to kind of give you a sense of what I mean by that, and kind of the understanding of what that stress can be like. When we are launching and landing, we have opportunities for the family, like for the landing, the families can be in mission control and viewing that, and we always have an astronaut that is there with them, just to kind of explain what's going on. And during the landing phase, there's always this period where we have a comm blackout, and that can be anywhere from 3, 4, 5 minutes long. And so after I had landed, I was actually in an MCC with the families for one of the astronauts that was getting ready to return. And I never appreciated how stressful it could be until we got to that time of the comm blackout. And you're sitting there with the families, and you just you can sense it, you can feel it, because there's this period where you've been hearing the comm coming between the crew and mission control, and then all of a sudden there's this silence, and you don't know if everything is all right, and you can't say everything is all right because you don't know, and you're just waiting until that comm comes back. And there's this moment in time where mission control will start calling in the blind. We call it calling in the blind, and so they'll start calling the capsule, just waiting for a response, and then there's no response. And I just can't, it's so hard to describe what it is like, for the families to have to sit there and wait through those moments until they hear their loved ones again on the space to ground comms. There are so many strengths. Julie is just an incredible person. This career field that I'm in, whether it's been in the Air Force or here as an astronaut, can be challenging for families. And throughout it all, she has been amazingly flexible, amazingly, she just goes with wherever the Air Force or NASA sends me, whatever challenges, she just takes them on, and she does it with grace, and she does it amazingly well. And so I can't say enough. I wouldn't be able to do this job without her. So ever since we were assigned as the Crew-1, we've been going out to SpaceX at their headquarters in Hawthorne and working with them from a training standpoint as well as from a development and verification and testing standpoint. And so it's been an amazing relationship. They bring a lot to the table. NASA brings a lot to the table. We've got a ton of experience in human spaceflight. They are very innovative. They think about things in a different way. And so when you bring those strengths together, a lot of their innovation and a lot of our experience with the human spaceflight, and you bring those together, it's been an amazing team, and we've seen the results of that with the DM2 mission. Yeah, the partnership that we have right now with SpaceX, with Boeing, it's pretty powerful, again, because it brings the talents of those companies with the talents of NASA, and it enables us to continue having access to low Earth orbit, human access to low Earth orbit, and at the same time it's allowing NASA to further its reach, to look beyond low Earth orbit and really be able to focus on going back to the moon, focus on going to Mars, and that really would be much more difficult if we didn't have these unique partnerships, unique relationships like we do with SpaceX. It is interesting. I mean, it is a contractual relationship, right? I mean, NASA has gone out and we have signed a contract with SpaceX to take astronauts to the International Space Station. And so there's that piece of the relationship that it's just reality. And so you can't ever forget that piece, but at the same time, when you're out there on a day-to-day basis and you're interacting with their engineers and you're interacting with their trainers and you're interacting with the people that are actually building the rockets and building the capsule itself, now you get to kind of go beyond the contractual piece and you really get to establish the relationships, the personal relationships. And that's been extremely powerful. I mean, one of the things that I've really enjoyed about this relationship with SpaceX or working with SpaceX is, we get to go on the floor and we get to meet the guy that's building or that is welding together your spacecraft. And I think that's good for both of us, right? Because we get to meet him, we get to see the work that he's doing and understand how critical that work is for our safety and for the success of the mission. He gets to meet us, and we get to share thoughts and stories and all of that. And so just that personal connection has been such I think a powerful thing for this program, and it's really paid huge dividends. So again, I think that the relationship between NASA and our commercial providers is going to stay strong. I think it's going to continue to be successful. But what's really going to be interesting is when they start to branch out and start taking folks into space that aren't NASA astronauts. And I think that's really where, so you're going to have two things that are going to happen, right? NASA is going to start launching missions to the moon as part of the Artemis program, and it'll be very interesting to see if some of these commercial providers start launching, let's say, civilian astronauts, if you will, into low Earth orbits as a byproduct of this programs that we've had with NASA. And so I think that's going to be a very exciting time when they, I should say, when SpaceX launches their first commercial astronaut. You know, it's funny, ever since I got here as an astronaut and went into that initial training as an astronaut candidate, my kids, my wife have said, "You don't go to work anymore, do you?" It's like you go and just play all day, and that's what it feels like when you come here to JSC and you get to train. And it's much more serious than that, right? I mean, it's not playing a game. It is real. It has real consequences. But at the same time, you know, I just absolutely love it. You know, we've got a couple of facilities here that are incredible. We have what we call Building 9, where we have the mock-up of the space station inside. And so we do a lot of our training for spaceflight in there, where you get to, you know, see the actual layout, the real dimensions of what it's like inside the space station, what the hardware is actually like. And so that is very helpful. One of the other things we do in that facility is kind of the last bit of training that we get to do as an entire crew, and we go through the emergency scenarios. And so they'll put the full crew inside the mock-up of the space station, and we'll go through a fire scenario, and they'll actually pump some smoke into it, and we have to react just like we were expected to react when we're on board the space station. And so it's the training here is very realistic. You know, obviously we can't get rid of gravity. Even when we do things like practice our spacewalks in the neutral buoyancy laboratory, the NBL, you still have the effects of gravity, but we do as good a job as you can. And quite frankly, based on my first space flight, we do an amazing job actually of simulating what it's really like up in space. Yeah, the VR capabilities are just getting better and better and better. And it's not just, yeah, it is the VR. So we've got a dome where we're actually able to practice robotic operations. And so it's like we're looking outside the cupola, the big window that's on the bottom of the space station, and we're operating the robotic arm as we're capturing one of our supply vehicles that comes up. And it's, I mean, it's amazing. It's very realistic, if you will. We also have an opportunity in a VR, we call it a VR lab, and we put on the goggles, and now we're out on a spacewalk. And now you can simulate things like what happens if we are to actually come off of station. We don't really have a way of practicing that in the NBL. We certainly don't want to practice it up in space when you're out on a real spacewalk. And so we do it with the VR, and you practice that situation of something happened, you've come off a station, and now you've got to use your SAFER, which is a system that allows, basically it's a little jetpack that you wear with you when you go out on spacewalks, and we practice getting back to the station. And so you definitely want to get that right. Yeah, we also have the opportunity to fly in the T-38, a two-seat jet trainer, and NASA's been flying here at JSC. We've been flying those jets for a lot of years now, and it's the one thing that we get to train in that's real, right? Where the consequences are real. When we're in a simulator, if we mess up, if we don't make the right decisions, we just reset the simulator and we try it again. In the T-38, you have to be on your game, and so it is kind of interesting when you do head out to Ellington Field, where we fly the T-38s out of. And when you get into the briefing room, you know, you got to go through a mental switch and say, okay, I've got to be on my game. It's got to be all about flying the T-38. I got to stop worrying about my robotics class that I just took, or my test that I've got tomorrow. I need to focus in on flying this T-38 because, again, the consequences are real.
Training in general.
You know, I think the importance of training, I'll fall back onto, you know, I can go back to playing football, how important the training is. I can go back to my first space flight, how important the training is. You know, the amazing thing, and I'll tie all of those actually together when I went out on my first spacewalk. And I remember being inside the airlock, and you're looking out this hatch through the vacuum of space down at the Earth going by. And I realized that it's a place that I've been before. sort of, right? And that's standing in the tunnel, getting ready to run out on the football field before a game. And it's this moment where you're crossing this threshold. You're going from this safe environment into this environment where you're laying it all out on the line. And so having that experience on the ground and then being able to kind of feel that same type of experience when you're up in space, it definitely helps. And so the training kicks in. And you get outside in that on your first spacewalk, and that can be a pretty emotional moment for you. It can be a little bit nerve-wracking, but you're also very excited, right? Because this is one of those events that you've dreamed about being able to go out and do. And then that's where the training kicks in. You get outside the hatch, and there's the handhold, just like when you've practiced in the NBL, in the neutral buoyancy lab, in the giant pool. You come out the hatch there, and there's that same handhold. And so then all of a sudden it's just muscle memory, and you just start doing the job just like you did on the ground, just like when you run out on that football field and you line up and you're making your reads and you're reacting to the play, and you've done it 10, 20, 30 times in practice. Now you're doing it for real, and that just makes it go that much smoother when it is the real day. It's just like the football team. We talk about the team, and we oftentimes think about the actual players, and it is so much more than that. It's the coaching staff, it's the training staff, it's the doctors, it's the folks that take care of the stadium. All of them make it happen, and it's the same thing here at JSC. We've got an incredible team from not only the trainers, but the folks that operate the facilities. The folks that, when we talk about the VR lab, they've created that, and they take a lot of pride in what they've done and realizing that they are contributing to human spaceflight. And so just across the board, it is, oftentimes it's the astronauts that, that you see. It's the astronauts that are oftentimes getting interviewed like this. But it's really the hundreds and thousands of people that are around you that make it happen, and we couldn't do our job without them.